Hey, hi, Ayush. Can you hear me?
Hey, hi. Yes, I can.
Right. Thank you. This is just for the connection. So, good afternoon, everyone. This is success story session from DataMites, and we have Ayush with me. Ayush, if you could just turn on your camera. Wait a
Sure,
second.
sure.
Giving you permission. Yes, Ayush. Thank you so much. Now you are. All right. So, Ayush, first thing first. We are very grateful that you have given us your precious time. You are working. I have seen your LinkedIn profile, and
Mhm.
of course, I'm very grateful that you have been transformed your journey from a data analyst for the working in the data field, and from being a data analyst, and then you worked as a data scientist. So, can you have just a brief introduction about yourself, about your journey from data to whatever you are currently?
Sure, sure, sure. So, like, I did my graduation in electronics and instrumentation, and after that, I wanted to be into core electronics. So, I went UK for doing my master's in embedded system and IoT. So, this was like post-COVID time. But like, scenarios changed. So, I just came back India, and then I was figuring out like what to do next because that was a total flop because of COVID and all those things.
Correct.
I was just like, because I have heavily invested into a lot of things, so I didn't wanted to do those mistakes again. So I just took Udemy and other platforms to just look for some other things, and then I went into all this data analyst and what algorithms are and all those things, just to reconfirm that do I would be able to do this kind of things, or like are this meant to be for me or not. So I did those courses, and then I got a bit of confidence on that yes, I can do that. Later I joined the DataMites, because I did a lot of courses from those places, but they were not structured. So like what I got from DataMites is like things were properly structured, so I don't need to go here and there. So there was a proper curriculum of things, and the best part was that the projects. So I learned a lot of like I say like for me like more than 50% learning I got from the projects and all those things, the capstone project and all those things. So I completed that. Then I landed up on a job. So that was the first job I did for like 3 months. It was a contractual based job as a data analyst, where my major part was working on data visualization. So once I completed that, I landed up in AffinityX. So initially I started as a Tableau developer. Then like after some time as a data analyst, so I got introduced into the databases and all those things. Then I also worked a bit on a data engineering part, like creating pipelines and all those things. And then I got promoted as a data scientist. So I did only couple of projects as a data scientist, but I'm mainly working on Gen AI projects. So we have a couple of tools where we need to build on some AI applications and utilizing the um, AI models and their APIs to create custom applications now.
Right. That's good. So you say that you started as a Tableau developer, and
Yeah.
eventually in the same company you got promoted to being a data scientist. One very generic question that people ask, because if you just talk about these fields, these everything falls under the same umbrella. Data science is a very vast field in which you have, even if you work over the Excel and you know the databases, you might be called as a data scientist in predictive analysis. So being a Tableau developer to the transitioning into a data scientist, how do you feel this transition to be? Is it too heavy for you, or it was okay, or it was very, very easy for you to transition from a Tableau developer to a data scientist?
So I would not say it was a very tough part for me. Uh, the one thing which I believe is like you need a continuous learning and everything. Like I could be settled down just after I got a position as a data analyst, but if you want to grow, we need to learn a lot of new things. So
Correct.
I guess that's the thing which I followed up. And I also did my I recently just completed my thesis, just waiting for my results. So I did my diploma from Triple IT Bangalore in machine learning and AI, and now just I will be completing my masters from Liverpool John Morris University in MLAI. So I guess these things also help me a lot. So we need a validation, and those so the first validation, which actually the DataMites validation, which I got, those two foundation certificate. I guess those were the initial ones which helped me to gain the job. And after that, if like that for that those progresses, they further need those technical validations. So I guess those were the certificates which helped me.
So basically, you were knowing already the predictive analysis and all the predictive models from the machine learning. So it was
Mhm.
a bit easier for you to, even you got transitioned as a data scientist. You were already familiar with all those things, right?
Yes, like it was kind of like I have worked on a lot of things in DataMites. So
Mhm.
that was my 9 months of progress, right? So I was well revised with a lot of things. So like in my masters as well, like in the initial days, things were not so difficult for me because I was knowing what actually they are teaching us. So in teaching perspective, like that was a easy part for me. And then we need to learn a lot of new tools at like as whatever company suggests. So or what sort of things are going on in company, we just need to figure it out. And like sometimes I feel like it's also an individual responsibility, like what sort of things you can give to your company just to expect something in return.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct. It's a two-way process all the time. It has to be like that only.
So it's kind of like
Uh,
if I know visualizations, right? So initially I used to do only what they say. But then I just thought of like, why can't we create some sort of storyline, and then we can, create some sort of weekly analysis report or something kind of. That's the new initiative which I as an individual took, and then I think so. These are some sort of, plus points which actually helped me to grow.
One very basic and very common question I want to ask: how much do you think database is important for data analyst or for a data scientist? Any
I
database?
think, like I believe that's the basic requirement if you want to enter into any data industry. So that's the least expectation I would say someone expect from us, because um, you know um, like in most, I have my other friends as well, like who are not well revised with databases and all those things. In recently, a senior data scientist joined in our company from a big company, but
Mhm.
those guys were not having a lot of exposure in terms of databases. So they are good in algorithms, they are good in coding and all those things, but they really need to be very dependent on us, on the data engineers, to gather data for them. So I guess, like, if you want to be exceptional, you should be having one sort of what we say major skill with you, and then there should be a lot of things which I think so you should be knowing. Like if you are good in something, you should be knowing 80-90% of that, and there should be the side things
Correct.
which you should be knowing like at least of 25-30%, because this give you an
Correct.
edge compared to the other candidates. And ultimately your ultimate goal is to reach to a certain level where you can manage, or like a product manager or something. So you need to have an exposure of all those things. So I guess there are a new term which are coming up, kind of like full stack data scientist and all those kind of
Yes,
things.
yes, correct.
So what actually these things are like now, if there is like not a big company, if there is some sort of mediocre company, what they're expecting is like we don't need four different guys to be coming up with a team. We are short in our budget. What we can do, like we need someone who can provide us an end-to-end process. It's like he should be knowing a bit of
Hmm.
SQL, some data engineering part, visualization stuff, and obviously algorithm predictive analysis and all those things. And then this new thing comes in the picture is the Gen AI.
Gen AI,
Well, there is
yes.
a yeah. So there is a lot
Mm,
of things to talk about Gen AI. So
correct, correct. Acha, one more question to add to this point. How much Excel is important for a data analyst and data scientist?
uh, well, it depends on the role. I say
Mhm,
it totally depends on the role, like what sort of JD you have, JD the company is given. So
mhm, mhm,
it
mhm.
totally depends on, like, there are a lot of company in which a data scientist or a data analyst is solely working on Excel. So he should be well revised with those things. But they're like, again, it's all about the requirement. So sometimes there is like major expectations from a guy who should be having good knowledge of Excel. In some places, they didn't even use Excel. They are solely dependent on visualization tool and
Have you
SQL
used Excel
database.
for your work anytime before?
So I have used, but not much. So
Not much.
I yeah, not much.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, as you said that you're from electronics and instrument engineering, right?
Yes.
What motivated you to become a data scientist? Why all of a sudden to this role? Or let's in the field of data from the main code that you have learned.
Um, I said, like, I wanted to go into the core electronics, and I also opted embedded system and IoT just because I wanted to do something in AI and all these things. So, like, but that was a sad part that I need to drop that idea, and then I was just recalculating things like what to do next, and then like at some part I am a bit of creative as well, so I say, like, being like what something where we can utilize the creativity as well as the tech part. So I just thought of, like, why don't I delve into this particular space, and then I explored that, and I actually kind of enjoyed those things. So I just did that. Like, personally, I enjoy creating visualization reports and all those things.
All right. Um, so out of all the different things that you have learned, like you have, of course, you have learned SQL, database, predictive modeling, and there are many more things. What
Mhm.
do you suggest that on the top of hierarchy wise, which is the most important thing to learn nowadays to get into a job of a data scientist? I'm not talking about, because as you said, that Gen AI. So when we talk about the term Gen AI, it's like, of course, it's not building the way a data science thing had built like 4 or 5 years back into the market. This Gen AI thing is building up in the market. Let's keep Gen AI a bit off track, and let's only talk about being a core data scientist. So what do you
Mhm.
think is very, very important for now students to learn, topmost, then the next one, then the next one, sort of thing?
I guess, again, like, yeah, I think so. They should start with SQL databases, and then a bit of a visualization, any sort of visualization tool, just to give it a start. Because once they learn any of the tool, they have that foundation, right? So they can learn any of the other tool. All are similar, and then the basic algorithm things, and then obviously, like you said, me to keep Gen AI apart, but like this is the high time, and they need to be equipped with a least amount of knowledge of Gen AI, because there are a lot of things which can, uh, like, people are shifting the code. I would not say core data scientist thing, but the least sort of things, like some sort of like data pre-processing or visualization things, like core analytics part have been done using these Gen AI things. So, like, if they are equipped with those kind of tools and technology, like, they will get an edge as compared to any other candidate. So I would definitely recommend, like, apart from these basic things, because these are the foundational things which you need to be learned, and definitely these things have been asked in each and every interview, that these skills or not, because these are very basic. But apart from this, if you are having any sort of Gen AI knowledge, you would be definitely getting an edge.
That's absolutely correct. Because anyways, since it is going into that, this is the near future, Gen AI, of course.
Yes, yes.
So we cannot deny the fact that it has to be one of the soft hands that we have to have. When you were transitioning from your field to data scientist or data analyst, because your journey is all about, you said that you had an internship, then you become a data analyst, a Tableau developer basically, and then you have like a data scientist. So you know everything. You were under the umbrella where you have tasted all the aspects of data. So what was the biggest challenge in all these transition that happened to you, that you feel like that was a challenge for me, that when you're getting transition from intern to a permanent role of a Tableau developer and then to a data scientist, all three?
I mean, like for every transition, there was a sort of learning curve. So that's the most difficult part, I would say, because we need to learn a lot of new things in between those parts. So, for example, if I say like when I got my first job, I was working on an open source visualization tool which was Meta based. And before joining that company, I haven't even heard about that product or anything. So like there were like strict instructions from them that we need to complete a whole project on this specific tool and all those things. So there were like core learning curve associated with each and every step. So and then when I switched into this company, initially I need to learn Tableau, and so you need
Correct,
determination and
correct.
consistency. That's the two thing you need for every transition. Like even if I want to switch to any company, like I need to dedicate my at least of 2 to 3 months just for the interview preparations and all those things, because I need to revise all those foundational things again.
That's correct also. Yeah, that's quite a few generous things that has come from you, Ayush. That's actually very inspirational. People are there, they have a lot of questions, that how to become and how to transition. So what advice would you give to the candidates looking to make a similar kind of career or any kind of change into the world of data science?
I would say like you just get clarity on your foundation. Like though things are very different when you do the actual job, but you need to be clear about the foundational things, because that's the only thing where you would be able to crack any interview, because these are the only things. Though there are different scenarios that these things could be helped you in your actual work or not. So these are very two different scenarios, but yes, if you want to land a job, you need to be clear with your foundation, and obviously in your job as well, somehow these foundational things will be helping you in your actual task. And again, you need to learn a bit of Gen AI tools. Like I would not say that you need to build up something new. Like it's totally not feasible at this point of time to create a new tool or anything. By new tool, I mean any model or anything. But there are a lot of LLM models and all those things have been coming up in the market. You just need to learn how to utilize those things and how you can utilize those things into your daily task. I mean, like, this is the next step, but you need to be clear on your foundation. Like, I would not say just directly jump into this and, don't utilize your own mind and do some sort of analytic things. Instead of just go to this GPT and Claude and all and just ask for any analytical insights or anything. So, first, you just learn what those things are, and then just equip yourself with those kind of skills as well.
I get a very, very common kind of query from the candidates. They say that, hey, how do I make my resume? How do I explain projects in resume? I just want you to, anyways, I go through a lot of these kind of webinar when I explain how to do this thing. I just want you from you that how do we explain any projects in any of the resume, or how do we write any projects in the resume, so that it becomes much more clearer for someone to review and understand what exactly it
Mm, So, firstly, just don't like, it's good to start with some common projects and all those things, But I would suggest, like, do not showcase those common projects into your resume, because an interviewer have been already been seeing those kind of projects into a lot of resumes. So you need to create something by your own. Obviously, for a start, it's good to practice with something which has been pre-built, but then make your own thing. Utilize GitHub, create your own profile in that, create your own web page in that, so that you can club all those projects into one. And then, like, once you get started, you you can add those projects, and your experiences, because initially, if you are a fresher, you don't have any sort of experiences. The only thing which you have is the projects to showcase, and the certifications and the skills. So just be precise on what actually needs to be showcased on those resumes. And utilize, there are a lot of websites and all those things where you can host, and create your own profiles, because I think those things look so cool. And this like kind of a, like, an analyzer doesn't need to go to your whole resume. He can just click onto, and the websites are looks more intuitive. And try to do not I mean, make your template a professional looking template, not just by adding a lot of pictures and colors and all those things.
Correct.
Make it basic. They don't want colors to be seen. They just want that content, which they are expecting.
Correct. That's a very common thing. You have to stay away from the crowd. Same thing if you get reiterated by the employer. It's like, hey, everybody's doing the same thing. Why you are the same herd? You have to go up. That's correct, Ayush, and that's actually very important also for the people to understand. Well, Ayush, that was quite an interesting interview with you. We are very happy that you have given us this much amount of time. So we are up for the question. If any of the viewer has any question, kindly let us know. All right. No questions in LinkedIn or the YouTube. All right. Ayush, we do not have any questions.
Okay.
That's fine enough. Anyway, so again, thank you so much, Piyush, for giving your time. We are very happy that you were a part of it and you are doing this with success. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys. It was great. Thank you.
Thank you.